y'all, it's me, Shaw360. I was not anticipating making another video this soon. I made a video yesterday. I usually like to wait between 2 and 3 days from uploads, like one today, one in another couple of days, one over the weekend usually. But I got this snack box in the mail, and so I thought I'd go ahead and I'd unbox it for you guys. I don't know that I'm going to taste everything though, only because I actually ate dinner before I got home and I'm kind of full, so I don't want to get sick. And lately my stomach has not been very nice to me. I don't know, it's weird. The older you get, the more your tastes change and the more your tolerances change. I find that lately I can't eat super greasy stuff. I can't eat stuff that has a lot of acid to it. I can't eat stuff that tends to have a lot of spice. It's bad. Yes, I see. It has been a while. So today's snack box is from the United Kingdom. This is... Okay, so they define the United Kingdom as being Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. So I've always had that question. What is the United Kingdom? And apparently that whole region is the United Kingdom. 1.5 islands. So there's that. Then there is a pamphlet where they talk about what kind of food you get here. Yeah. And this box is full. Look how much shit is in this box. So yeah, I'm probably going to show it more than eating it because I don't want to open a bunch of stuff and then have it spoil. But the first thing we have here is Yummy Banana Toffee from Walker's. I've heard of the brand Walker's because they make that shortbread that I really like to eat. You've probably seen it in stores before. It's a plaid box by the Walker's company, Walker Shortbread. Well, this is their Yummy Banana Toffee, which sounds disgusting. Apparently you're supposed to whack it and then you're supposed to unwrap it and enjoy. I don't know why you'd whack it because this thing is like super soft. So I don't know why you need to whack it. It's soft like Laffy Taffy, so I don't know why. Next, Honey and Mustard Potato Chips by Mackey's of Scotland. Well, not potato chips, potato crisps. Why is it honey and mustard? Why can't it just be honey mustard? Why has it got to be honey and mustard? I don't know. These will probably be good, but they'll probably be kind of sweet. I'm not sure if I want that. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Then we have another toffee thing. This time it is toffee flapjack with delicious toffee flavored topping. And it's a cake. Yeah, it's like a piece of cake with a toffee layer on the top. So, in America, a flapjack is a pancake. Most places. Most places consider pancakes to be flapjack. So toffee flapjack. I need to figure out what flapjack actually is. Maybe we've been doing it wrong here in America. We do so much other stuff wrong. Got another bag of chips. This time it is Kent Crisps in the flavor Ashmore cheese and onion. So that's it right there. Very dignified looking bag of chips, if I do say so. It's probably not bad. I mean, cheese and onion by themselves with each other, it's not bad. It's not a horrible taste. It's just an odd flavor to say. But I imagine it probably tastes kind of like sour cream and onions because sour cream has a little bit of a cheesy flavor. So that's probably what that tastes like, honestly. Then another bag of potato chips. Oh my gosh, there's 4 bags of chips in here, or kind of chips. This is Welsh Potato Crisp. Ew. Okay, these chips are by a company called Taylor's. They are Welsh Potato Crisps in the flavor lamb and mint. Lamb. Okay, so I've actually had lamb before. And I've had lamb before that I knew was lamb, and then I had stuff that I thought might have had lamb in it, but I wasn't sure. So I've had a lamb roast on a holiday meal one time. Hated it. It was super gamey. Didn't like it. The reason why people add mint jelly to lamb is because it is so very gamey that the mint kind of takes away the funkiness of the meat. But most traditional gyros are made with lamb meat. So you know the gyros, that the meat on the stick and then they shave it off and they put it in the pita, and gyros. Those, I believe, traditionally are made with lamb meat. And I've had gyros before, so I feel like I've had lamb meat that tasted good. But see, I see you're typing it, but gyros, I think, is how you say it in Greek. If you're a pagan American like myself, it is gyros. Which I you know, America has its own rules. So the next bag of chips I have here is pickled onion rings. Johnny's pickled onion rings. I like Funyuns. I feel like these are going to taste like Funyuns, but at the same time, the word pickled concerns me because it makes me think of Funyuns doused in pickle juice. I don't know that I would like that. I don't know if I would like that. Next we have this, which I have no idea what this is. I'm looking at it, and I still have no idea. So this is a bag of Bristow's Chewy Bonbons in the flavor rhubarb and custard. Do you see these little balls in here? They're like kind of soft. You can press them. So when I think of bonbons, I think most people, including myself, think of chocolate. These are not chocolate. I don't believe that they are. They're chewy bonbons in the flavor custard and rhubarb. I don't even know what rhubarb tastes like. I know what rhubarb looks like. It looks like red celery. But I have no idea what rhubarb tastes like. So that's another one to have to... I have questions. I have questions that need answers. Next we have this, which is from Bristow's as well. And it is fudge in the flavor clotted cream. Made with real clotted cream. So that is clotted cream fudge. But it doesn't look like... Again, most people, I think of fudge as being a chocolate. This is not a chocolate. This is this. So it looks like toffee to me. Or a caramel. Caramel. That's what it looks like, a caramel. And then the last thing that's in its own packaging is Dean's Light and Crumbly Shortbread Rounds. Which, I like shortbread. This should be fine. This is probably going to be super tasty. So there's that. And then there's this random yummy bag full of assorted hard candies. As you can see here, it looks like there's something that's kind of like a cream and orange. Ooh, and it's soft and chewy too. And then there's a lemon that's harder, and then a green that could be anything. It could be lime, it could be pistachio, because it's a cloudy green, so it's hard to be certain what that's going to be. But that's everything that came in the snack box. I look forward to trying everything out, but some of these flavors, man, they're a little bizarre. If Stephanie was here, I absolutely would open these, but she's not, and so it's going to take me a little bit longer to get through all of these. Maybe what I'll do is that every time I do a live stream, I'll open one of these different packages and I'll eat them in front of you guys so you could see my either delight or horror. But I do think I'm going to try one of those hard candies right now. I don't think that'll make me sick. At least I hope it won't. But yeah, that is Save Them and Eat Them With You. Okay, I probably could do that because I'm not in a hurry to eat these anyway. Even though, like I said, I am going to have one of these Yum Yums here. I think I'm going to go for... the green one because I'm curious as to what the green one is. Lime. It's lime. It's a cloudy color. but it's lime. Okay. That wasn't as bad as I was thinking it might have turned out. Okay, so the question's been asked, so I have to answer it because I'd be remiss if I acted like I didn't see your comments there. Someone asked if I'd heard about the death of an idol from a smaller group. They said but that's not the name that I heard on Twitter. The name that I heard on Twitter was Johan from the group Top Secret. I don't know that group. I don't know this man. And I'm not saying it to be disrespectful. I'm just being completely candid with you because I don't feel right talking about somebody who I don't know and pretending like I'm so in tune with them and that I was such a big fan. That's not right. That's not right. But this young man, I don't know him. And they haven't said how he died. So I don't want to make any assumptions because young people have health issues just like older people do. Young people die in car accidents just like old people do. And sometimes young people do decide to take their own lives. So I don't feel it's right to presume what happened. Also, to be very honest with you, it kind of sounds to me like a Twitter rumor. Not saying that to be like, oh, it couldn't possibly be true. More that I haven't seen a single news article about it. Like, it's not on Soapy. It's not on the usual suspects. So, and the company hasn't made a statement. And usually the company will make a statement, if for no other reason, to say that the group is going on hiatus. So, I don't feel comfortable talking about this person because, one, again, like I said, I don't know if it's true. Two, I don't know what actually happened. And three, it's just somebody I don't know. And I just don't really want to say, oh, this is what happened. I know what happened, all this other stuff. So if you're a fan of the group Top Secret, I'm sure this has been all over your timeline. And I feel bad if this is causing any problems for you guys. I really, really do. There's nothing worse than hearing about someone that you followed, someone that you have really admired passing away. And that's no matter what your interests are, whether it's K-pop, whether it's non-K-pop music, whether it's art, whether it's sports. I mean, how many grown men in America cried when Kobe Bryant died? So many. So I would never play about anybody's death. I would never joke about it. I don't think it's a funny topic. Even when it's people I don't like necessarily, I don't think there's many people in the world I dislike enough to wish their death. I mean, if the family confirmed it, then, that's a good thing because that's a reliable source. But, yeah, I just don't want to make any assumptions about anything because that's not a fun thing to go through. It's not a fun thing to go through, especially, like, when it's not true and people have said that it is, and you go through all these different emotions. It's not fun. But yeah, I don't want to assume that it was I don't want to assume a cause of death. Absolutely don't. Because when Cameron Boyce passed away, a lot of people assumed that he had taken his life, and he actually had an epileptic seizure. And so that's why I say, like, it's just, I'm not comfortable assuming. This flavor has changed. Initially it was lime. Now it tastes like Coke. And I don't know why. Tastes like Coke now. It's weird because I haven't drunk soda in forever. I'm surprised I remember what Coke tastes like. It's really good candy though. I like it. But anytime rumors happen like that, it's just best to err on the side of caution. I remember back when Jung passed away, Eric Nam was like, I'm condolences to his family. And then a bunch of Shawls attacked him and were like, it's not been confirmed. He could still be alive. He's just at the hospital. And then he issued an apology. And then it turned out he had died. And it was like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Damned if you say condolences, and people are like, oh, there's still a chance. And then when it comes out that no, they passed away, and people were like, oh, well, yeah, but you didn't know it at that time. It's like, let's just wait for confirmation. Let's just wait for confirmation, because that's the safest bet. That is really the safest bet for all parties. But yeah, I do want to say I do want to say thank you to you guys. I don't know why I thought I don't know why I thought sucking on hard candy and talking at the same time was a good idea, because it's not. It is not. But you know what? I don't learn my lessons, so I do things stupidly. I wanted to say thank you guys for your support of my last video. I realized my last video, made a video yesterday, I was very much in my feelings, and because of that, you know, it does come across a little weird, a little all over the place, a little negative, but the commentary was actually pretty positive going to it. And so I appreciate that you guys were very sensitive to my feelings, and you understood where I was coming from, and some of the comments from that video are really nice. Really, really nice. So I'm going to read a couple of comments just because I haven't been replying to comments lately. And that's because, what's the best way to put this? One, I get a little overwhelmed because when I want to respond to comments, I want to write a lot, and my fingers tend to hit the mistype a lot, and it just doesn't come out the way I intend for it to. Two, I upload a lot, so I usually have more comments that I'd like to respond to, I think. Not very often, but like, I upload, like I said, every other day, every couple days, something like that, and when I do, it leaves a lot of comments to try to answer, and sometimes the comments, there's just not much to it. Like, sometimes the comment will just be a couple of words, and so I don't know that necessarily deserves an answer. But the other thing is, sometimes, depending on what the video is, I don't feel like the comments are meant to be responded to, if that makes any sense. So like, sometimes I'll do a video about a very sensitive topic, and people will leave comments in the comment section to vent their feelings. And I don't feel like me responding to the comment is necessarily helpful with their therapeutic process, so a lot of times I won't respond. So at the end of the day, I've just gotten to the point where I don't really respond to a lot of comments unless there's a question that I can answer that has a very definitive answer. Like if somebody says, where did you get A, B, C, and D, and I didn't mention it in the video, I'll usually respond and say, I got it here. Or I've had people like, where can I find, which proxy site do you recommend? And I'll respond to something like that. But a lot of stuff I don't respond to because, like I said, a lot of stuff just is not meant for me to respond to. All that being said, let's get to the comments. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay. That hard candy I was sucking on just crumbled in my mouth. Remember I was telling you it was lime, and then it was starting to taste like Coke? Now, the inside tastes like a chocolate Tootsie Roll. But it's all crumbly. Oh my gosh. No. No. Who makes chocolate candy with lime on the outside? Well, we'll not be eating another one of those. Alright. Back to the subject at hand. Comments for the last one. So I got a couple of comments from Miranda, who said, LOL, I'm just letting you know that Wendy was copying a friend when she was in Canada, but I get it's not right. Listen, I don't care if Wendy was copying a friend or not. It just comes across stereotypical. Especially because, like, Wendy is considerably younger than me. I don't know many black girls under the age of 40 who say, oh no you didn't, honey. That's just not a young person thing, you know? Anyway, next, she also says, can you try to monetize your account to help with finances some? So maybe there was a misunderstanding in my last video. My finances are not bad. Like, I can pay my bills. That's fine. I do have the ability to monetize my videos, but a lot of times I don't monetize my videos. The reason why is because some of my videos, I use copyrighted content, and if I get a copyright claim, it doesn't make any sense to monetize the video because I'm not going to get any money anyway. But also, I made a promise to you guys, and you can look at my community tab if you need evidence of that. I said if I ever discussed anyone's death in a video, I was never going to monetize that video because it's inappropriate. And unfortunately, as is the nature of my channel, I tend to talk about a lot of serious stuff, and inevitably Jong-un gets brought up, and I'll make a passing reference to his passing, but it's enough to where I don't feel comfortable monetizing the video. So anytime I mention Jong, especially if I talk about around the time he died, something like that, I'm not going to monetize that video. That's a moral standing that I've decided to take on my channel. I don't monetize everything. I do go back sometimes and I'll monetize some stuff, but for the most part, if I'm talking about something really serious, especially like all the videos I made about like my exhaustion, racism, all that stuff, I didn't monetize those videos, and I wasn't going to monetize those videos because the subject was not something that I felt should be monetized. And so with that being said, I think the most money that has ever accumulated on my account for monetization is $1.21. Like, I've never made any money, never made any money off of this channel, and I probably won't in the future. I mean, my sub count is low. I don't really get a lot of people on my live stream, so it's really hard for me to say that this is an income source. Now, if I had really big views, because like most videos I have get about 150 views. If I had like thousands of views, it would make sense to monetize, but those kind of videos are your typical unboxing videos and the like, and that's just not what I do anymore. Discussion videos don't get the views, and so yeah, monetization of this channel is not really an option in terms of making money because there is a big threshold you need to cross in order to be able to make money on this platform. Next comment. This is from Hello Choi Minho. Hey girl, how you doing? It says, at this point, I don't care if SM said anything about Black Lives Matter. I'd rather them be quiet than say something that will make me have to cancel them. Because Chick-fil-A hates everyone and I still eat there. I enjoy K-pop and that's that. Also, Johnny did speak up. And she did the shrug emoji before she said, also, Johnny did speak up. I'll be honest, I don't follow Johnny, so I would not have known, but if he did, kudos to him. You have now encouraged me to want to know more about you, sir. And I might reconsider whether or not I'm going to buy NCT stuff new, but right now I'm not feeling the press. I can get why you wouldn't care if SM spoke up. I could get why you wouldn't necessarily want to stop eating at Chick-fil-A, because everybody has their own thing, and this is not me critiquing you or directing hate towards you. It's not what I mean at all. What I'm saying is, teach their own. You know, we all have our thing that we do that maybe other people don't think we should do, but we feel like it's appropriate, so that's what we do, and that's fine. But like I said in my video, I've invested a lot and I would like a return on investment, and it just doesn't seem like I'm a person standing by my word if I'm asking other people to open their purses, but I'm not asking SM to open their purse. Get what I'm saying? I mean, especially because Mason retweeted it on his Twitter, which is locked so you wouldn't see it, but they think that Super M might be campaigning for a Grammy nomination, which, if that's the case, like, okay sis, so yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know, I've thought over and over about my not boycott, but just my reticence to buy. And I do understand that some idols cannot speak, that their companies don't want them to do controversial things, because at the end of the day, Korean companies care more about the opinion of the Korean public than they do about Americans. And I didn't get into it in my video, but now's a great time for me to talk to you about history between black people and Korean Americans. Let's get it. Okay, let me put my glasses back on because now I'm going to be serious. Okay, so the bad blood between Koreans and black people goes back very, very far. And a lot of you would know this because a lot of black K-pop fans don't talk about it. But in the, like, I would say like 70s, 60s and 70s during the Korean War is when a lot of black people first ran into Koreans because there were a lot of black military people that went to Korea. And a lot of Koreans came to the United States because they married GIs, established businesses. Korea's economy was really bad back in the 60s because they were just getting over Japanese imperialism, and people would like send for their families to have them come to the US and, you know, have more educational opportunities, more money making opportunities. Well, black people and Koreans found ourselves in very close quarters during the preceding decades because black people, we're obsessed with our hair. I don't know why, but it is a huge thing for us. Hair, glorious hair. And black people have always kind of been on the cutting edge of hairstyling, if you will. And so a lot of the hairstyles that we use, they require more extensive tools than most hairstyles for non-black people. We use straightening combs, curling irons, flat irons that you might be familiar with. But we were some of the first people to use weave and braid hair, and we use wigs on the regular, and we use chemical relaxers, we use Jerry curl kits, we use all kinds of different creams and tonics and lotions and sprays and setters and rollers and just all kinds of stuff on our hair. And so the Korean people who came to America found a market that was underserved, and that was providing beauty supplies to African Americans. And in most black communities to this day, most of the wig shops are run by Asian people, predominantly Korean people. To this day. I live in Colorado Springs, and there are probably about 3 or 4 hair stores in all of town that aren't Sally's Beauty Supply, and all of them are run by Korean people. Every last one of them. And because they would find themselves in these black communities selling hair products, beauty supplies to black people, we were basically their only customer, their predominant customer, and these neighborhoods that they were moving into were poor neighborhoods. And, you know, this is not me shading poverty at all because I grew up drinking powdered milk. My family used to live just a step above the projects. We made a little bit too much money to be in the projects, but our apartment was across the street from the project. So that gives you an idea of where I came from. And I remember very well these neighborhoods, people being desperate. Kids couldn't leave their bikes parked in their front yards. People couldn't leave anything outside their door. If you had a package that needed to be brought to you, you would go pick it up at the post office. You wouldn't allow anything to be dropped off in front of your house. And it wasn't because poor people are inherently bad people. It's because poor people are desperate people. Poor people are poor, and it's defined by their lack of secure housing, lack of jobs, lack of money, lack of food. Those are the things that define you as poor. So if you set up a business in a poor part of town with people who are desperate to have and they don't have, you are going to see people stealing from you. People, you know, not necessarily being very kind because they're angry because they're poor. You know? And so Koreans who came to America, who established these businesses in these black communities, would oftentimes look at the black people who were coming into their store as potential criminals. And they would look at cases of us stealing hair products or stealing wigs or stealing weaves and be like, black people are criminals. And that was reinforced in their mind. So a lot of Korean people had biases against black people, and it didn't help that while a lot of Korean business people set up their businesses in black communities, they didn't live in these communities. And they didn't live in these communities because these communities weren't desirable. You know, just like education is such a big deal in Korea, it's still a big deal amongst Koreans in America. And the school districts in these poor neighborhoods are underfunded. The facilities are not well kept. It's not a place conducive to getting into Harvard or Yale or any other Ivy League school. So Korean business owners would have their businesses in these really bad parts of town with customers that they despised, but they would live in white areas and they would send their kids to better public school districts. And so they didn't live around us, so we only knew them for the businesses they kept. They only knew us for the people who walked into their store and the behaviors in their store. So there was a big gulf between Korean people and black people. It also didn't help that a lot of times when the white GIs went to Korea to tell Korean people about America before they came over, their racist attitudes went with them when they went to Korea. And so for black people and Korean people, there was this divide. They didn't live around us, they didn't trust us, and we felt like they were using us, that they only set up their hair businesses in our communities because we were the only people buying these things. So fast forward to the 90s, and there's a Korean shop owner who gets in an argument with a young girl at her store. And I don't know much about the argument. What I do know is that the Korean shop owner shot the girl, a black girl, dead. And she went to trial, and I think at the trial she ended up getting off. I don't think she was acquitted. I think it was like a lesser charge. And I'm going to try to look that up because I do want to give you guys the ability to look it up for yourselves. I don't expect you to take my word for any of the things I'm saying. I do expect you to research these things for yourself, but I do want to give you a place to start. Okay, so if you go to Wikipedia and you look up the case of Latasha Harlins, Latasha, Harlins, Harlins, that was the 15-year-old African-American girl who was shot by Sun Ja-do, a 51-year-old Korean-born female convenience store owner. She was tried and convicted of voluntary manslaughter in Harlan's death and was sentenced to time served and 5 years of probation, 400 hours of community service, and a $500 restitution and funeral expenses. That happened in 1991. The LA riots happened in 1992, and that was after Rodney King had been beaten by police, and it was videotaped. It was actually the first time that police brutality had been videotaped and released to the wide public. And black people got angry, and what they did is they went into their own neighborhoods and they started burning down and rioting and looting the Korean shops because they were already mad about the fact that this woman killed this 15-year-old girl, and all she had to do was community service and pay a $500 fine. A life is worth more than that. But not only were they mad at that, but they, again, like I was saying, they felt like these Korean shop owners had come into their communities and used it. Harlins, Harlins. They felt like these Korean owners had come into their communities and used them. And they got really upset. And so they burned the shit down. And ever since then, Koreans, both in America and in Korea, have hated black people. They really have. The only exception to their hate, for the most part, is black celebrities. Real talk. And it's because a lot of people in Korea had relatives who went to America to make things better, were supporting family at home, and then they would tell their family at home about how these black people burned their life's work to the ground. And so, yeah, there was antagonism there. In fact, it's so weird because Dumbfounded, he has a podcast. Well, it's not a podcast, but it's like I guess it's a podcast. He does it on Twitch, and he had Korean Americans on the show, and they repeated the same thing, like, you know, my parents hate black people because they were always stealing from the store, and I grew up and I didn't like black people because they would steal from us, and, you know, not even really knowing the roots of why they would steal, and not questioning why do you set up shop in a community with people you don't like, you know. So even today, after the LA riots, it was pretty bad. But a lot of Korean owners were able to rebuild their businesses, were able to get back in those neighborhoods, were able to sell hair, and life kept going for them. But there's something that is very rarely talked about, and it's kind of, I don't know how this can be changed, which is the reason why I say it's not really talked about that much. You know how I was talking about how black people are kind of like the front lines of hair technology, that we love all the new hair stuff. Weave is a thing that has existed for a long time, but it got super popular with African Americans. And most hair for weave comes from South America and Asia. It doesn't come from Africa, it doesn't come from Australia, it doesn't come from Europe, it doesn't come from North America. It comes from either South America or Asia. Mostly Asia, especially if you're talking about human hair. So when you see Nicki Minaj turn around and she's got bundles going down to the floor, that is somebody else's hair. And the longer the hair is, the more expensive it is if it's human hair. Well, human hair comes from India mostly, but Asian markets. And the people who gather this hair and who manage these big hair networks are Asian people. And the hair is sold predominantly in African American communities. And that bias, that kind of disdain, disgust for black people has meant that we get locked out of the profit structure of the hair selling business. So there's been stories, you can read about them on Twitter, on the internet, where black women in particular have wanted to open their own hair stores, selling all of the products that you'd get at the Korean store, but wanting to be the person to own the store in their neighborhood to serve their community because they are a part of that community. And they have been locked out of being able to get good prices on wholesale hair. They've been locked out of being able to get fake synthetic hair like Canicolon and all the other synthetic hairs. Anything that could be controlled, that Asian markets had a monopoly on, black women couldn't get into. And it's retribution for everything that happened in the 90s. And so, yeah, there's a lot of bad blood in the water over these things. And it wasn't just hair shops. It was convenience stores in black neighborhoods, liquor stores in black neighborhoods. You know, there was a time when you could drive through a black neighborhood and you wouldn't find a grocery store, but you could find liquor stores, places to buy cigarettes, and hair shops. So with all that being said, that is your glimpse into the relationship between Koreans in America, Korean Americans, and black Americans. And that's the reason why when you see somebody like Yoon Mi-rae become popular in Korea, it's a phenomenon that's not oft repeated, because in a lot of ways, if she wasn't so distinctly Korean looking in her facial features, I don't think that could have happened for her. But thank goodness she is so Korean looking, so she can open the door for other kinds of acceptance. But there's a singer who's an older lady, and her name is Insuni, and she was the product of a Korean mother and a black GI father back during like the Korean War days. And she talks about how like at school, kids made fun of her for being fatherless. Kids made fun of her skin, her hair, because she had like nappy hair. And she has very African American features. Like her nose is a more prominent nose. She has fuller lips. She looks very much like a very light-skinned black woman. And it was rough for her coming up. And she had a hard time being able to assimilate because of that. And even now, you know, they want to wear the celebrity and the entertainment looks of black people, but black people in Korea aren't treated so kind. You can look at stories that Sam Ochuri has told about his time in Korea and how people who are especially older people don't want to sit next to him on the train. Then there's our poor little baby. I can't remember his name, but the little black mixed kid, he's like half Korean, half Nigerian, and he is one of the hosts on, I think, is it NBC? He's on one of the countdown shows. Cannot remember, escapes my mind. Anyway, that poor baby. He is half Korean. but he looks full on black. Like when you look at him, that baby looks black, blackity black, black, black. I'm black, y'all. Black, y'all. And he's got nappy hair. Hyunmin, thank you. Hyunmin's hair gets done so fucking dirty. It makes me mad. It makes me actually mad inside when I see how they do his hair. He had like a high top for a really long time. Wasn't the best style in the world, but it was a style. But he had a high top for a really long time. Then they started trying to straighten his hair, but I guess they don't know how to straighten natural African hair. And he looked like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's like, I don't understand why they did him like that. But there's been so many times I've seen his hair and it looks absolutely ridiculous. Like, it is just obscene how badly they do this baby. But I say all that to say, Black Lives Matter is not a movement that I expect to see a lot of support in Korea for, because of the history between black people and Korean people. For that reason alone, I can get why idols would be told to shut up about talking about BLM, because Korean people are remembering the 90s and all of the stores that burned down and how black people did this. And so, with that being said, am I surprised that SM would prioritize their Korean fan base over the money they make at home? No, I'm not. Because let's call it what it is here. The American marketplace is a marketplace that for a long time SM wasn't even sure if they could get a hold of. And it's something that at every turn they're convinced it could go away. And they feel like their permanent money, the forever money, is in Korea. And they're not wrong about that. I don't think that in 20 years, TVXQ and SHINee could have a tour in America that would be profitable. Like, they'll always be K-pop fans, but we're probably not who they need to come see when they're doing their retirement tour. Like, just like how Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block do their, like, cruise ship stuff. Yeah, TVXQ and SHINee are probably not going to be doing that in the States. They'll probably do that kind of stuff back at home. They'll be doing variety shows back at home. And the idea of supporting black people in America to a population whose mind was made up about black people during the 90s and the LA riots, yeah, they're not going to endanger their future for us. They're not going to do it. And that's fine. That's fine. But it sucks. It really sucks, because we have loved y'all. We love you very much. We love you very dearly. It'd be nice if you'd be supportive, you know. Rain, I was looking at you for a minute. It would have been nice to hear something from you, because black clouds love you. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, they see their future in Korea. They do not see their future in America. Big Hit and BTS actually do see their future in America. They probably see, like, we've got maybe another 6 or 7 years that we can do this here, maybe even another 10 years, you know, and we're going to make all this money back anyway. That's the other thing. Anytime any rich person gives money to charity, it's always with the thought, I'm going to get my money back. Whether it's through tax write-offs, whether it's through putting a surcharge on the next thing that you put out as a product, they always get their money back. And perhaps SM's American label doesn't think they'll get their money back for a charitable contribution. So that's why they're not doing it, or they're not advertising it, or not saying anything about it, because they don't see a return on investment for that. Whereas I'm certain that both BTS and Big Hit know we're going to get that money back. The next album we release is going to sell millions of copies. This is light work for us. We will get all of this back. We'll release another merch line, get all of this back. It'll be no problem. So, you know, that's the way it is. That is the way it is. Absolutely. And maybe that means I don't need to be as harsh on the companies for saying anything, because they're protecting their future interests. But right now I'm mad. Right now I'm mad because this is the thing that I find ironic. There's bad blood there for sure behind the LA riots and this perceived criminal nature of black people by Koreans. But they rebuilt in our neighborhoods. A lot of the Korean stores that were damaged or got burnt down or other things, they rebuilt in our neighborhoods. They continue to do business with us and have been for almost 30 years. So whatever bad blood we had, you're still here. You're still getting our money. You're still down the street. I can still drive to a Korean hair shop today. You didn't stop working with us. So I ask the question, if we're that bad, why don't you pick up sticks and get out of our neighborhoods? Straight up. If we're that bad and we're such criminals and we're causing you to lose all this money, why do you keep coming back? Because you don't come back to live around us. You come back to open businesses around us. Why do you keep coming back? We keep giving you money, but I know I keep giving you money because I have no alternative if I want access to these hair products. If I want Kanekalon hair to make braids, I can only get them through Asian suppliers. Even if I go to a black-owned third-party vendor, they're getting their hair from Asian suppliers. So there's no way to cut you out of the finance loop here. So because of that, I'm constantly giving you money. But if you don't like me and you don't want me to support your business, get your business out of my community. Find other ways to make money that don't involve me. But you keep coming back. And so it's actually financially, business-wise, in your best interest to protect your best customers. Because if there are no black people to buy your hair, that is a business that doesn't exist for you anymore. So think about that one. Think about that one. But yeah, life is what it is. Things are always more complicated than people give it credit for. Anyone who grows up in the world thinking that every subject is black and white, you poor misguided child, that is not at all the case. The world has many, many shades of gray. And so this is the way things function. It's all a circle and a cycle, and it continues to be something where we all compromise our moral compass at times, even if we don't mean to, because we're all so very entrenched in one another. But because we're so entrenched in one another, whether we want to be or not, it serves as a reason why we need to protect one another. There are a lot of white supremacists out there in the world who don't like black people because of perceived problems with us. Whether the problem is the way that they think we are raised, whether it's something that they think is inherent in our skin color, whatever the problem is, they don't like us. But they need us. They need us to work at the grocery store. They need us to work at wherever else we happen to have jobs, driving trucks, at the doctor's office, being nurses, working at your nursing home, taking care of your elderly white parents. We're a needed part of society. And if you took every single black person out of the economy doesn't work. And we all need the economy to work. When they did a study talking about how long a dollar lasts in certain communities. And I think it was like in white communities, the dollar stays within the community for like 2 months, something like that. The Asian dollar, I think, stays in the community for like 2 weeks, something like that. They were saying the black dollar stays in the community for about 45 minutes. It doesn't go very far because our businesses are so enmeshed with everybody else's businesses. Because even if I give my dollar to my black hair salon operator beautician, she's got to buy her supplies from a white supplier or an Asian supplier. So the dollar doesn't stay in my community very long. We don't produce a lot of things in our communities. We rely on others to supply us with the raw materials to be able to produce. So we all rely on each other to live. And so it's in your best interest, whether you think you like me or not, to protect my ability to make money. I'm helping you out. I'm helping you out, you know? But it is what it is. Man, I didn't even get to the next comment. Okay, next comment. Sorry about that. I'm reading the comments from my last video. So this one was from Blue, and wait a second. Blue Siri? Blue Siri? Is that? No, Bluery. Bluery? I used to be able to read Hangul, but now I can't. I'm so sorry. Anyway, this person says, COVID has definitely made it difficult to justify ordering new releases. The last album I bought was Becky and Second Mini, pre-ordered and still haven't gotten it yet. But since then, I haven't wanted to deal with the extra shipping costs for months of wait time. Also, can't stand SM in general these days. The fact that I couldn't even afford a snow globe because of the higher cost for international fans, shake my fucking head. Thanks. And the silence from SM during what happened in the US, really guys, nothing? I'm not surprised, honestly, but it also kind of shocks me. I totally agree that we shouldn't punish the artist for the company's faults, but so many idols weren't silent while many were. Sigh. Good live stream as usual. I'll try to catch it live next time. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry that I butchered your name. Like I said, I used to be better at reading these things, but the first set of characters, it's Ui, is it Uiri? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong. Okay, so Janini says, regarding the cost of albums, this is why I've generally stopped collecting albums. If I must have a copy of an album, I get it from Choice or another US-based third party who offers media mail for like $5. Yes, it takes about 10 to 12 days to get to me, but I absolutely refuse to throw that much money at albums anymore. I have too many bills, and my house and health are my top priorities. I understand you as a fellow grown-up. We got bills, baby. I gotta get them bills taken care of first. But yeah, $5 for shipping, an album that costs $20, that makes sense. But this EMS and DHL shipping is crazy expensive. Sky Angel Sweet, she says, if you talk about the weather, we will watch. Thank you, girl. And then she says, if I'm spending my money, I can state my opinion. Also, I think you're right. That's probably a Big Bang won't ever promote in Korea again. I think it's okay to take time to reevaluate. This is supposed to feel fun and joyful. I hope you think of your mental health first. Thank you so much. Yeah, the question of whether Big Bang will promote in Korea again, I don't know. I really don't know. I've talked about how I didn't see it for Big Bang moving forward as the whole group. And I thought that Coachella would be like a good test case of if this is even a viable option for them. But that's in America. That's not in Korea. And every time Top breathes, Korea's like, fuck that guy. Why won't he fall into a hole? So with that kind of attitude, can they promote in Korea? Now you would hear something like that and you would think to yourself, oh no, because Korea hates Big Bang. Yeah, but when G-Dragon came out of the military and he released his Nike shoe, that bitch sold out. And all the celebrities were wearing it on their Instagrams and showing everybody. The shoe was crazy hot. Everybody wanted to have it. And so, it's all about putting your money where your mouth is. If you don't like GD because you think he used to smoke marijuana and because he was in the same group with Sungri and because he was in the same group with Top, if that's why you don't like GD, why are you buying his shoes? Do you really dislike him, or are you a hater? Are you just jealous? Same thing with Top. Top hasn't come out with anything since the whole marijuana, I don't even want to say suicide attempt, but you know what I'm talking about. Since that time, they haven't really said anything about, Top hasn't really done any projects. He's gone on Instagram and he's shown where he's been working on some music, but he hasn't really released anything. So who's to say what the Korean public will buy? We don't really know. But if Big Bang comes out with something and that thing sells, do you really hate him or are you just mad? And then with Daesung bought a building and the building was filled with hoe houses from the floor to the ceiling. Women selling sex everywhere. And people got mad because they're like, hey, how did you not know your building was filled with hoe houses? And Daesung's like, I don't live there. It's not like I knock on the door to collect rent. I got a person who does that for me. And they said it was okay and that this was a good investment. Daesung, I would like to think that you're not as laissez-faire about your finances, that you would just let somebody buy a building and you wouldn't ask, like, who works in this building, how much money am I going to be able to get on the rent, are there any problem people that I need to evict? Like, those all seem like questions a businessman would ask, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just like, I trust you to handle this for me, minion. I'm going to go back out and get my hair bleached again. I don't know how things work for him. But again, if Daesung decides to come out with music and you buy it, like, do you really hate him? So yeah, I don't know if Big Bang would be a flop in Korea, because they got to put out something first. Even Taeyong, for as much as he seems like the one in the group that is held blameless, he still gets a lot of flack because they're like, okay, how do you stand in the middle of a group of people where all of them have something half shady going on, but you don't have nothing to do with it? You weren't involved. This is all a shock to you. This has nothing to do with you. It's kind of like when I was saying during the whole thing with Yuchin, I'm like, it made me look at Jaejung funny. And then Jaejung comes out with his joke about having COVID. Seriously, dude. So, yeah, I mean, valid questions all. But until the album comes out, we won't know how they really feel. Because netizens talk a lot of bullshit. But at the end of the day, your pockets talk a lot louder than your mouth and your Twitter fingers. Or in this case, your neighbor fingers, I guess I should say. Your Nate fingers. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the future actually holds. But right now, the jury's out. Quite literally, Seungri still hasn't seen his day in court. Not that I'm looking for him to get off on charges or anything, but like I just want the fucking thing adjudicated. I just want it to go to trial, evidence be presented, judgments made, like something. But yeah, that's that. Thank you guys so much. We very barely talked about the... Oh shit, I just put that on camera and my whole address was there. Hopefully none of y'all saw it and decided to send me anything. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that y'all saw enough of it for y'all to do anything. And the people who know my address anyway, so it is what it is. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And, you guys stay safe out there. Keep your mental health safe. I think my next therapy bite is going to be about food. I've been trying to pick little things. I think I'm going to go with all the different senses. So I've already done smell. So I think I'm going to do taste is the next one. But therapy bites around those. Because I find that those little bitty videos are really nice. They're very pleasant. They don't take a lot from me. They're just really decent to put out there. So I think the next one's going to be about food. But not what you're thinking. I'm not going to be talking about comfort food. I'm talking about something else in regards to food. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And you guys take care of yourselves. Bye.